everyone, this is Gina. As you can see, I've made several pieces with this month's Bargain Bead Box. So what I've decided to do is I did it in a format that it would be just one video, but it turned out to be like 2 hours long. And I didn't even include this one. This is going to be a completely separate video. So I've decided that I'm going to break it down. I think I'll do a couple pieces. I'll put the footage for a couple pieces in this video and the opening, and then I'll put a couple pieces like the two bracelets together in the next video, and then I'll make another video with this one. So this is going to be broken down into a couple of pieces. Today you'll see part one, and I think I'm going to put the footage for these two necklaces in that one. So let's go ahead and open the bead box and start with the tutorials, and then I will put up another video for the next couple, and then this one, like I said, I'm going to do completely separate video of the technique to do this, because I would like to do this again, not with the budget bead box beads. I'm going to show them, but I would like to use my own beads and make this a standalone video, because I think it's a perfect project for a beginner's channel, and it's really fun, and I would like to just dedicate a video to it. Hi everyone, this is Gina. Today I'm going to open the October Bargain Bead Box with you today and make some stuff. So I'm on my patio today, so you may hear some weird noises and things, but this one, the Bargain Bead Box, is $17.95 a month. If you use the code GGC2, you will get $2 off your first box. So this month, each month it is a little different theme. This one is carnelian, crystal, and jet glass combined in this vivid autumn palette. So this is all about autumn. Comes with a nice little paper here that tells you about a coupon you can get for the sister store, which is beadboxbargains.com, and a contest and question and comments. And then on the back you have your identification key so that you can look at your beads, they're numbered, and you can figure out what exactly is in here. Now, I go through these very quickly simply because I want to get to making things more than showing you the beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dump this one out. It comes in this nice little bag instead of an actual box, just to save on cost. And you get a nice assortment here. So I'm going to go ahead and line them up by number, and then I'll show you each one. Okay, so I've got them all lined up, and we're going to start with number one. And of course someone started using a saw as soon as I turned this on. It was quiet out here till now, but you know, that's how it's got to be. Number one, 100 piece 4mm round steel spacer beads, antique silver finish. So that's what these look like. Just little spacer beads, which are always nice to have when you're stringing, especially. I use spacer beads all the time. And then number two are two sets 18 by 23mm ornate round toggle clasps, and these are pretty. I was checking this out as I was straightening out the pieces here. These are nice toggles. I really like these. Look at these. Really nice. And they're double-sided. Really good. I like that. I like a fancy toggle. And then number three is approximately 7-inch strand 8mm carnelian round beads. These are pretty. Let's see if I can get my camera rearranged a little bit better here. So those are really nice. And then number four is approximately 14-inch strand 4mm crystal bicone beads, peach jade magma. So let's look at these little guys. And those are pretty, nice sparkle. And the electroplated look here. And then we have number five, 1 meter, 4x3mm textured steel chain. This is a pretty chain. That's nice. Nice texturing. It's really pretty. I like that. So we'll definitely be using that today. And then number 6 is 10 grams, 4.5 bumpy rondelle spacer beads. These are good too. Let's see. Nice little spacer beads. Pretty. I'm not going to sit here and show them in the camera for 30, 40, 50 seconds. I'm just going through it, so I figure you'll see it as I'm making stuff. This is number 7, and this is a 46 by 42 chandelier focal, and that is really cool. It's got really nice features on it. I mean, really pretty. So that's number 7. Number 8 is approximately 7-inch strand, 6 by 4 millimeter crystal rondelle beads, green jade shimmer. And those are pretty. Have a nice shimmer to them. Number 9, 10 grams, 6 millimeter leaf bead cap. So let me turn these over so you can actually see them. And zoom in, and that's what that looks like. Very nice. And then number 10, 4-piece 27 by 22 millimeter chandelier components. Those are nice too. Really pretty texturing on these. Nice antiquing. Looks really pretty. We can do something with that. Number 12, 5-piece 12 millimeter crystal coin beads, blue iris. Oh, those are really pretty. I can get you close so you can see they're kind of frosted in some of the facets and shiny on the other part of the facet. That's really pretty. I like that. I like anything that sparkles, though. You know, I'm a sparkle girl. Number 11 is 5-piece 12 millimeter crystal matte stripe magma AB. And these are really pretty too. With a nice frosted stripe on it. Yeah, that's really pretty. I really like that. Okay, let me get those back in there. And then number 13 is 12-piece strand, 10 millimeter crackle agate round beads, rust red. Oh, these are pretty. Like that too. Nice. Okay. And then number 14, 20-piece 7 millimeter leaf spacer beads. I always like to have leaves. Those are pretty. Or leaves. Leaves. I don't know. Anyway, that is number 14. Number 15 is approximately 7-inch strand, 8 by 6 millimeter crystal rondelle beads, denim AB. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Nice. Okay, number 15. Number 16 is approximately 15-inch strand, bright red, orange agate round beads. Lots of oranges. Of course, it's October, so you know, lots of orange. That's pretty. Okay. $17, 5-piece 23 millimeter floral medallion links. Those are cool. It's always nice to have little links. You can do a lot with links. I may have to figure out something to do with those this time, so. Okay, number 18. Approximately 48-inch piece strand, 5 by 3 millimeter crystal fancy bicone beads, sea green shimmer. Come out. Whoa, there goes my paper. The wind kicked up here. Let's see if I can get that. Right there. Oh, look how pretty that is. I am on the patio today because I'm very close to where my mother is in the room right inside the sliding glass door here because I'm taking care of her. So she had total knee replacement. So if you're wondering why I'm outside and why I haven't done any videos, that's basically it. I'm just sneaking this one in today. So These are number 19, and it's 10-piece check maple leaf pressed glass beads matte peridot. Number 20. Number 20 is a 30mm carnelian brass filigree pendant. Let's see. Oh, wow. It has filigree on the back, see? And it shines through the pendant. Look at that. Let's see if I can get it under my light. You might be able to see. No way, Jose. I can see how it kind of shines through. But that's kind of cool. And that will go good with these agate beads. So anyway, I am going to go away and come back with a tutorial for you. Okay, so I've started a design and I'm going to show you what I'm using and how to do the second half. I've started the first half and I'll show you how to do the second half. So what we are doing is I have the chandelier components, the smaller ones, and the bigger one. I'm also going to be using these bigger crystals and some of the little green bicone saucer shape, the bumpy rondelles, and you're going to need some head pins. I'm using some that have the little ball on the end, and you'll also need, these are really thin, so I'm also using a regular head pin, but of course you can use all regular or all bumpy end, whatever you'd like. And I'm also using the chain that came, and some 3mm jump rings. So what I've done is I've cut 3 pieces, 13 links long of chain. And the first thing that I did was to put a jump ring on each end and attach it to this link right here. Might be a little dark. I'm in a different place today, so see if you can see. So I'm just attaching these here. So these are 13 links long. Just cut 13 links and then open a jump ring. Grab one end of your chain and then just put it through the link on the pendant and close it. And do that 3 times, and then after you have all 3 of them on, we'll do the same thing and link them to the first 3 hoops or loops on the chandelier component. Now you can see I put all 3 of my 13 links on here, and I put a jump ring on the end of this one. Make sure they're laying out, and as you put them on, scoot each chain over so that you can put them on in order so that they're not crossed. Don't tangle up the jump rings. Keep everything nice and neat and in order, otherwise you'll have a twisted necklace that will never untwist. And then put on one of your 3, maybe 4mm jump rings, whatever you have. And I'm going to open this and I'm going to just slide it on the first link in the component. Now I want it to sit like this, so I'm going to slide it on here, right there. And then we're just going to close that jump ring. And we will do that with the other 2 also. Okay, as you can see, I have a crystal dangling in the center here, and I'm going to show you how I did that, how I made the component. And then all you'll have to do is open it up and slide it on to the link in the middle of the chandelier component, and you will have your dangle also. And you'll want to do that pretty much first so that it's not difficult to access while you have all these other things on here. So you'll want to pick up one of I'm using some 11 seed beads. These are Toho and they're nickel plate, just to help keep my beads on my head pin so that it doesn't slide off. I'm not using the ball head pins that I have for this, just regular, because the ball head pins are really thin and there's not quite enough strength to hold the dangle here. I can't open and close the component well. So I'm sliding on an 11 seed bead. Let's get you close. And then I'm going to slide on one of these rondelle components. I hope there's enough light. Let me move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to slide on my crystal, just like that. Make sure your head pin isn't all messed up like mine is. And then just take the wire and bend it directly over the top of the component, or of the crystal. And then cut about 1/4 of an inch. Retain 1/4 of an inch. Cut the rest of it off. Then you've got this portion laying over your finger. Just take your round nose pliers and get to the very end of it, and just go a little ways down the round nose pliers and roll until you have a nice loop like this. Get you close. And now all you will have to do is open this sideways like that, slide it on the link, or the little loop inside the big chandelier component, and then just close it again once it's on there. Oops, don't slide off. Just close it like that. And that is your center component. Okay, so to make these dangles on the outside here of the component, you're going to cut a series of graduated lengths of chain. Now, you can cut any length you want. It doesn't have to be the same that I've done. But what I've done is I've cut 11 links, 9 links, 6 links, and 4 links. And then I will start with the longest length. I'll put these aside, and I'm going to make a little end for the dangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of our rondelles, and I'm going to use one of my head pins that have a little ball on the end. You don't have to. You can use a regular one. You're still going to get a nice effect if you put an 11 seed bead, which you'll probably have to do because these rondelles like to fall off the end. So I'm going to grab one of these head pins. These are really thin, but they're kind of resistant, but I'm going to use them anyway. Now I'm going to pick up an 11 seed bead right here, and then a rondelle. Let's get you a little closer. And this is what I have. Now I am going to, let's see, what I put another 11 on top of my other one. So I have an 11 a rondelle and an 11 and then I'm just going to bend this over my round nose pliers. I'm going to get real tight up against that 11 seed bead, bend this over the top of my pliers, turn my wrist. I want to keep my loop small, so I'm staying towards the front of my pliers, and then I'm just going to bring this around, can turn my wrist, and complete my loop. And you should have something that looks like this. Now we are going to slide our chain onto this before we close it. So you'll want the longest length. For me it's 11 links, and you just slide it onto the last link. You may have to open it up a little bit more if it won't slide down. So you can just grab your chain nose pliers and just open it just a little bit like that. And then grab your chain, pop it down onto that loop, pick up your chain nose pliers, hold onto the loop like this, and you can use your flat nose or you can use your round nose. I'm going to switch hands here. And then you just start wrapping this. Let me turn it this way. Wrap the excess around 3 times. And then just cut that off. I don't think I quite got 3 times, but just the best you can do here. And then, once you have that on there, then you just tuck the little tail in that you've left behind after cutting the wire off. And then you have your first dangle. Then you will just put a jump ring on the last link. I have a head pin stuck to my pliers. There we go. And then slide it on here. And we're going to put the longest link first on this component here. Make sure nothing is twisted. I've been throwing mine around, so make sure everything is nice and neat. And then you can see that I can put my first longest link right here on this component. Just like that. And close it. And then do the same exact thing with the other 3 lengths of links, and you'll just put them on graduating from the longest to the shortest, and we'll be back. Okay, so now I have connected all of the links with the bobbles on the bottom here in graduated order. And then I also made a little dangle with a rondelle and 2 11/0s to put inside the link on this connector right here. And so both of my sides now match. Now I'm going to make some chain in graduated fashion also. I'll cut 2 of the same all the way from here, then 2 the same here, then 2 the same here, all the way into the center, making the center the longest one, and then I will connect my crystal right here. So the way that I showed you to wrap it, this is the same crystal actually, and that's what I'm going to use. And then I will wrap a few to put on the ends of the chains of these crystals. And I will come back and show you exactly the lengths that I have made. I'm making it the same way that I have made all of these. Instead of wrapping the rondelles, I'll wrap the crystals, and I'll come back and show you how many links I've used and where I placed them. Okay, so now as you can see, I have put my dangles on the bottom here. I started with 10 links of chain, and then I just opened up the link that I had made on top of the crystal that I showed you how to make, and slid it on the chain, and then connected in the very center one, the 6th one in the middle, I connected with a jump ring, the 10 links with the crystal on it. And then I have used, next to the 10 links on both sides, I used 6 links, and then 5 links, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2. The way that I have made the crystal on the bottom is I used one of my head pins, and I picked up an 11/0 seed bead, a crystal, a rondelle, one of the bumpy metal ones, and then another 11/0. Let's get you closer. And then I grabbed my round nose pliers and put it just a little ways down so that I didn't have a big loop right here. and then just bend it over the top like this, and then move into that bend, bring it over the top of the pliers, bring your wrist down to complete the loop, and this is what you should have. Then you will just pick up your chain nose or needle nose or whatever you have. I'm going to switch hands and wrap it. Now I'm not sliding this on the chain like I did with the others because there's too many beads to try to hold on to. So all I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and wrap it about 2.5 times. Let's get you closer. Just like that. And then cut that off. Squeeze down the tail. And make sure you get these squeezed down really well or you'll have a really pokey necklace. Like this. So that's squeezed down. And then I just grab my chain. This is very small chain. But you can open the links of the chain. So cut the length that you need for your dangle and then just find where the chain opens. Open it up. Like that. And slide on your link. And sometimes you have to reposition a little bit because these are tiny links. Slide it on. Let's get you close. Like this. And then I can just close my link again. And it just takes a little bit of work with these little tiny links, but you can do it. And once you get it closed, then that is what you should have, just like that. And then you will have however many links that you need. Let's open them. Cut them in advance. It's a little easier than just opening them like I'm doing right now, but I'm just showing you how to do it. So you can cut all your chain in advance and then just move from link to link to link as you put this on. Then I just open a jump ring. See, I don't think I have any out. I just open a jump ring, slide it on the end, and then slide it on to the component. And that's how you make those links. And like I said, this one is 10, this one is 6, this one is 5, 4, 3, 2. And that's how you do that. Now we need to make something that goes up around the neck, of course, to hold the necklace on. And I think I want to make it between the 18 and 20 inch mark here. I don't want this real tight, but I don't want it real long either because I want it to lay right in the middle of the chest the way that the dangles are. If it's really low, you're just going to lose the effect. So what I've done is I've laid it on my beadboard, and then I will measure double, because I want to double this. I'm going to measure my beading wire to about the 12 mark. So I'm going to have about 20 inches on each side of my beading wire. I'm using the 7 strand. It's just like Beadle on 7. It's just this I bought a really long time ago, and it's silver tone. My newer ones that are Beadle on 7 are not silver, so I'm using this one. And the reason I'm using such a light one is because I want to double it and I want some flexibility. Beadle on 7 will work actually better than this. This is just a little stiff, but that will work perfect for it. Cut 20 inches for both sides, so you're going to need a 20-inch piece cut twice. And then I'm going to slide it through the component right here. Get you closer. So I want it slid right through here, and I'm going to keep both ends together and pull it up just like that. And then I'm going to start stringing this. I will also get out some size 2 crimp beads, and you will need a crimping tool also. But first we're just going to figure out how we want to string this. And I think what I want to do is I want to see if an 11/0 seed bead will go on here first with both of my strands. And it will, so I'm just going to put on an 11/0 seed bead and a rondelle. And I'm not going to crimp that off. I'm just going to leave it just like that, and we're going to bead this on a double strand here. So let me get this arranged. And then I think I'm going to pick up my big crystal. So I have 3 left, so I will have 1 oddball. And I'm going to put both strands in there and bring that down. And then I think I will pick up another rondelle. And then an 11/0 seed bead. Let's see if I can pick it up here better. And I'm just going to continue beading this till I get it to the length I want. I'm going to start using some of these crystals now to tie the crystals and the dangles into the upper part here. Should have plenty of crystals and rondelles to do this. If we do not, then we'll have to incorporate something else. We've got those little silver spacer beads we can use too, but I think we should be okay, but we're going to find out. Anyway, I'm going to continue beading this, and then I will be back and show you what I have. Okay, so as you can see, I have gone ahead and strung this side completely and put the clasp on. I'll show you how to clasp it on this side. I've left that open. But all I did was to add some 11/0 seed beads in between the rondelles and make sections of crystals so that I had enough beads to go ahead and do both sides. I only have a few left over of the rondelles and of the crystals so that I can try to make a matching set of earrings. I don't have many left, but that's why I used the filler for the with the 11/0 toe hose. The nickel plate goes really well with this. So basically that's all I did. Just make sections. You can string it any way you want and then put your clasping on. So what I did with my clasping is you have to make sure that this side is slid down really well so that it doesn't have a lot of slack and slide all over the place. You basically want it to move just slightly, and then you're going to slide on a crimp bead. I'm using Beadalon size 2 crimp beads. Let's see if I can get in the light a little bit better here and get you closer. I've ended on 3 11/0s, and then I'm going to put my clasp on both wires, and then I'm going to slide both wires right through that crimp bead and through the first 3 11/0s and through that first rondelle. And then I'm just going to pull this down, making sure, you'll see up here I have too much slack, so I'm going to push my beads down, push my crimp bead down, and just keep adjusting until I don't have so much slack in my bead line here. So you can just hold on to one side and pull the other side until you get it where you want it. Let's see. I have hardly any slack on this side, so I want to match that. So I'm going to push these down just a little more, and then pull these just a little bit more. but you want to leave some slack here so that your clasp will move. Let's see what that looks like. That looks better. And then I'm just going to grab my crimping tool, and I'm going to use the second slot closest to the handles. Center it over my crimp bead and just crimp that down. And then I'm going to turn sideways and go into this first divot and secure it. And then I can just cut off these extra wires here. And I'll show you what we have here. And that's what that looks like. And I think that turned out really pretty. So mine is about an 18, 19-inch necklace, so that this will hang just below the collarbone level. And then this way, this will be right on your chest. Anyway, that's project number 1. I think I'll try to make some earrings to match. I don't have many of these beads left, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the chain that I need and come back and show you. And here are the earrings I've made. I'll get you closer so you can see them. So what I did was exactly the same thing as I showed you, so that's why I didn't show you again. Same wraps. It's just that I didn't have much crystal left and I didn't have many rondelles left. So I used the crystal that I had, I had like 5 pieces, so I put one here, one here, one here, one here, and then I did the chain again. So here I did 4 links, 3 links, 2 links, and then no links. I ran out of rondelles. I was too short, so on the ends I used a little tiny daisy spacer and a 11L on either side of the daisy spacer, I'll show you, to create the look close to what we have down here, so that I could still continue and make my plan that I had. But I was having a problem with everything I was running out of beads on in this one. So anyway, that's what the earrings look like. Let me hold one for you so you can see it. And it goes really nicely with the necklace. Okay, so for this pendant, I'm just going to do a simple little strong piece. I had 2 rondelles left over from my first necklace and set of earrings, so I just attached them on a jump ring and put them on the bail here. I've shown you how to do all this a million times, but I'll show you anyway, just in case. But all you have to do is open a jump ring and slide it on the bail. Now these may slide around. I may decide I don't like them, but I like to put little dangles in front of my bails, and I've noticed a lot of people are doing that now. It must have caught on. So this is the jump ring. I'm just going to, I wire wrapped the little rondelle bumpy beads, and I'm just going to slide them on here. And then I'm just going to slide it right over the bail and close it. And then I'm just going to cut a piece of wire. What I think I want to do is just string the front portion, if I can get this to lay right. Jeez Louise. So, after struggling with it for a minute here, that's what that will look like when it hangs on the neck. Just like that. So, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cut a piece of wire. I think my plan will be to just do some general stringing. I've got the bead caps, I've got the bigger pieces of the carnelian and the spacer beads. I may put a chain towards the back. I haven't decided yet. So what I'm going to do is just cut a piece of wire, and I'm using the 7 wire. I finally found my 7 beetle on too in silver, but it's a little late. I've been using this, so I'm going to use this. And I'm going to cut about a 22-inch piece of wire And I will start by sliding the pendant on. Just your basic stringing here. I'm just going to slide it on. I'm not going to do anything too fancy to this one because I don't really think it needs anything really fancy. I like to start from the center when I have a pendant and just work my way out. I don't usually lay out a design. You can if you'd like to, but normally I just start in the center and I work on one side and then I work on the other side. Or I do one here, one here, one here, one here, or whatever it takes to make both sides symmetrical. So I'm just going to start with probably a spacer bead, a couple spacer beads. Everything is arguing with me right now. This has been the most difficult video I've ever made, let me tell you. Changing rooms, changing lighting, changing, not being, I don't know. It's just been one of those. So, if I have a couple of those on there, the bail will slide right on that. And then I can just center my wires and I can just start stringing. So I'm going to open my beads. And I'll probably use some of those bead caps and spacer beads. And I'm just going to start making a design on the wire itself. So you can string it any way you'd like. And I think I'll start with, I'm going to add some pearls, some glass pearls in with this. Because I just think this orange and this butter color pearl go nice together. So I'm just using them because, you know, why not? Okay, so I might actually even put a bead cap on either side of these. Okay, let's try that and see what that looks like. Next to our two spacers there. I might give it a little oomph. Have to go through this side, drop that down. Yeah, I think I like that. So I think I'm going to continue. So I've got, let me show you what it looks like. I'll do this side the same way, but I think that looks pretty neat. So I'm going to continue stringing this and I'll come back and show you what I've done. Okay, so what I decided to do was put a bead cap, a pearl, a bead cap, and then a spacer, and then a bead cap and the stone, the gemstone, a bead cap, and then a spacer, bead cap, pearl, bead cap. It's making a really nice look with this particular pendant with the metal around it and stuff. This is turning out really pretty. So I thought I'd show you so that you wouldn't have to guess how I did that, trying to stop your camera and look, or stop your video and look at it. So let me get you close so you can see. And I'm just going to continue with my pattern and see how far I can get. Of course, there wasn't a whole lot of these beads, but I'm going to, the way I'm doing it, I think I'm going to be able to get a pretty good full length with it. So I'm going to continue. I'll come back and show you what I finished with. So I have gone ahead and finished stringing my necklace, and I went as far as I could until I ran out of the little bead caps, and then I just finished with 8O seed beads, and I put 31 8O seed beads on and then clasped one end. Now if you are putting your beads on at the same time like I did, when you finish, just put a clip on one end or a piece of tape or something, and then do your other end with your clasp, and then take off your clip on the other side, and we will go ahead and clasp this. I know I've shown you many times on these videos, but just in case someone's watching this that hasn't seen the others, then we need to do this. So let's get close. Make sure there's no slack in this because of the way that we put the center together. We want to make sure there's no slack between the beads. And then I put on a size 2 crimp bead right here, and I'm going to slide down my end of my clasp. Then I'm going to go through the crimp bead, and I'm just going to go through a couple of beads because I can, because I have the width and the beads to do that, and it will help me kind of keep everything straight here. And I'm just going to make sure that I don't have any slack to where my necklace is going to spread apart here. So I can just do that by adjusting my loop around my clasp and pulling my wire, and then adjusting my loop around my clasp until I get it to where I want it. And that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to take my crimping tool. In the second divot, the one closest to the handle, you'll see there's like a little crinkly side and a little half moon side. You're going to place that. You can see that my wires are parallel to each other. They're not crossed. I'm going to place it directly on that crimp bead. My loop is a little big, hang on. And then I'm going to center it on that second divot and squeeze. And then you can see that what it does is it just kind of depresses the center and encases the two sides in the crimp bead. And then you take your first hole here, closest to the tip of the handles, looks more like a full circle. You're going to place it sideways, so your fold is in the center here. Place it sideways on your crimp bead and push those two sides together. And you can do that a couple of times. And you can use the tip of your plier where it's flat to reinforce that. And then you have a nice stable crimp. And then we're just going to cut this wire really close. And now we have a necklace. Now with this necklace, I put these dangles on the front here. I went ahead and added a pearl dangle. I just wrapped it the same way I showed you how to wrap the other beads earlier in the video. And it wants to slide around, but I'm not sure. They're kind of driving me crazy. But when it's vertical like this, when you're wearing it, they'll hang really pretty in front of the pendant. However, when you lay it down and you're working on it, it drives you nuts. So that's kind of up to you whether you want to put a jump ring with your little dangles on it. I changed my jump ring to an oval to try to get it to hang even more further in front. And it does, like I said, when it's vertical. So that's what this one looks like. I think it's a pretty necklace. Okay, so I decided to make a really simple pair of earrings to go with this. I've run out of all the bead caps and my pearls don't fit on this wire. So I'm just making one simple little wrap with a 4mm round. I only had 2 of those left. So 4mm round and one of the beads that I had left. I had several of these beads left, and I just picked a couple that go pretty nicely together as far as color is concerned because they're all a little different. And I slid a 4mm round and a one of the carnelian beads on the head pin, and then I'm just going to take my pliers. I'm going to go not too far back on here, just a little ways, and bend my wire over, and then turn my wrist and turn my plier into the bend that I've just created in the wire. And then I will bring this wire over the top, and as I've got it as far as I can, then I'll just turn my wrist, turn my pliers so that they are now parallel to the bead, and bring that wire underneath. And if your loop is a little off center like mine, you can always bring it to the side that is off center, just a little bit, and then you should have a nice loop. Let's make sure these loops are about the same size, and they are pretty close. Now I'm going to grab with my chain nose pliers right onto the loop itself and hold on to it really well. And then I'm going to switch hands because it's hard for me to wrap with my left hand. You can use your round nose pliers or whatever pliers you have and start wrapping your wire, one wrap on top of the next. And I'm just going to continue wrapping over the top of the bead as far as I can. And then I will just cut this really close. And then I will tuck in that little tail. Tuck that in a little better. Be careful because you can distort your wrap. Okay, and then we'll just take an ear wire and we'll open the ear wire. Let me find some pliers here. Find which side opens on your ear wire. I think it's this side, and just twist it open. And then drop your bead on there and then close it. My head pin was a little bit different color than my ear wire, but oh well. And then I'll go ahead and slide another one on this one, and then I'll have a cute little set of earrings to go with this necklace. And so that's the end of part one. And with this one, I wasn't quite as detailed as I usually am, or with these two actually, because with all of these videos I've done so much connecting and bead wrapping that I feel as if I don't need to go into as much detail. However, my next video, part two, I'm going to make this bracelet and this bracelet. And I go into a lot more detail with these. So this is going to be the projects for part two. So I hope you tune in. Bye-bye.